Those are the two national anthems of our competing teams today, and we've touched on Angola and their storied history in this competition. Well, very much the other end of the spectrum when it comes to Uganda. It's only the second time they've actually qualified for AfroBasket. The last time was 2 years ago, AfroBasket 2015, where they finished 15th of 16. So these are two teams at opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to the history of the competition. But of course, history isn't played out on the court. That's the here and now. And what are you expecting from today's game?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm expecting a lot of fight from Uganda in this game, Dan. Really just considering the fact that they've have a number of quite a bit of confidence going into this tournament. Only lost to Egypt, who's also considered one of the higher class teams of Africa, by 1 point leading up into this tournament. They're ranked number 9th in the pre-tournament power rankings out of the 16 teams in this tournament. So they're not exactly sitting at the bottom of the barrel. Also considering the fact that they have a little bit of mix of young and old. They've got a lot of great athletes on this team, no doubt about that. They have the size to be able to match with Angola, but really it's just going to come down to more than anything composure and execution of the game plan more than anything for Uganda in this game. Whereas Angola, they really are going to have to try and dictate the pace. They got to make sure that they can't get Uganda off and running on the fast break. Younger teams, they love to do that sort of stuff. It makes the game just a little bit easier, a little bit simpler for them. Angola is a team, though, at the same time that Uganda has to make sure they don't let them get into rhythm on the offense either. They have to make sure that Angola is not dictating the offensive pace of this game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle out, particularly in the early stages. We've seen in today's games things can go back and forth on the first game of the day as you ease yourself into the competition, but the team with the pedigree has gone on to win in the games we've seen so far, and that kind of points towards Angola. So we'll see if that pattern continues today. But we heard the Angolan national anthem at the beginning there. They're hoping to hear it at the end of this tournament as well, because that's basically what they do. They're not here to compete, they're here to win, the Angolans. But as you say, an interesting test first off for them against this up-and-coming Ugandan side. And quite a number of people stayed in after the excitement of Senegal to watch this game now, which is just well, 30 seconds away. We're almost ready to go.
We are, and Uganda once again just going over their final game plan. They've got to bring it to Angola right away. Don't allow them to dictate the pace. If you have to make mistakes, make sure they're aggressive ones against the Angolese offense there. And just stay in front of your man as well. That's one thing we've seen with some of these younger teams with a little less experience on the big stage, is this kind of getting lost on the switches defensively. And any time that a team like Angola is given an opportunity to get either an open shot or an open layup, they're going to score almost every single time. And we've seen that with Senegal, we've seen it with Egypt, and you're going to see it with Angola if Uganda is not going to be able to make sure that they're locking down that half-court defense.
Well, the day began in this group. This is Group B with Morocco beating Central African Republic in a raucous affair. The Central African fans were tremendous.
Absolutely.
In that game, but Morocco came out on top. So the embryonic table, for what it's worth, as we have a look at the coaches, the embryonic table has Morocco on the top of the table, but Angola could be there with anything more than a 10-point win, although it doesn't really matter at this stage, as everybody's going to play everybody, so you've got your chance to knock them all off yourself. And we're almost ready to go. I was just wondering if the referees were checking something with the table there, but all seems to be good. And there's a calm before the storm here, isn't there?
It really is, actually. You know, and you can see though that Angola is still going over their game plan right now. Some keys for them to win this game really is just make sure that they're forcing Uganda to run plays, keep them from running the floor, as I said before, and also move with purpose without the ball. I think that's something that it's an incredibly well-coached team, incredibly well-run offense, and when it gets going, it's something to behold here in African basketball. And as long as they can continue to keep moving without the ball and getting themselves open, Uganda's going to be having fits as the Angolese are going through the tunnel of love, almost, if you will, between their coaches and their players.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I haven't seen that pregame warm-up.
No, but they're just about ready to go. The starting five for Uganda is already out there. You got number 15 Stana City, who averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds a game a couple of years ago for his team in this competition. Amoni is also starting, and Abu in the opening lineup, as well as the big Adrias Pagis. And it's rounded off, I think, by oh, there's a Pong there on the near side. I was looking over the far side too. The last guy was coming off the bench, but it was a Pong who'd already made his way across in. Here come the Angolans. Costa and Ambrosio is there. So too Moray, who also had 15 points a game a couple of years ago, and Moreira coming out wearing the number 2. And there's the South African coaches watching on, having just finished their game. And I think we're ready. Yep, thumbs up from the commissioner on the far side that we can get things underway here. And the ball is up, and the tip is won by Moreira. So Angola in all white will start us off with play. Money to the fall away, doesn't quite go. And a quick block at the other end, super play, and there's a foul call.
And there we go, Uganda getting the defensive stop, and right away, not hesitating, trying to dictate the pace. Nice fast break pass there, but some even better defense. And we've been seeing a number of those kind of blocks throughout the day here. Just the help defense has been on point for just about every team in this tournament so far. There's the first shot made.
Robinson Apong gets the scoreboard ticking. Second one is no good. And here come Angola looking for their first points of the ball game, but drawing a blank there.
There we go, Uganda, open three.
Shot is no good. Maras backing down, trying to find a little bit of space, throws it cross court, attempted pass inside to Ambrosio, but it's out of bounds.
Not a bad idea there, though, on the offense, just up in the air, sees the teammate wide open under the basket, but a great reaction by Uganda, though, to tip it loose, and as a result, they're going to get the possession here.
And it ends up, and there is the first points of the ball game for Paolo.
And not the way that you want to give up the first points, and there's a three.
Oh, quick three in transition is good for Uganda.
And that's Robinson Opong, who was able to knock that down. That's a lot of confidence. You see this Uganda team, they were talking to the media before this tournament. They are confident, and they've been claiming they're confident, and they're showing it right now against the Angolans. No hesitation on that three-pointer by Opong.
Here comes the reply from Moreira, which doesn't drop. And City now from behind the arc. He strokes the three.
That's the 37-year-old veteran for Uganda getting it going early. The old man showing he's still got some game.
Shot is short. And rebound is pulled in by Uganda, who started really well here, mainly looking for early offense, and they're doing it again. And back-to-back threes from Stana City.
There we go, City. A much-needed timeout here for the Angolans. And don't look now, but Uganda showing they're not to be trifled with in the first opening minutes of this game.
Well, they've certainly come to play here, and they've opened up a 10-2 lead against Angola after only 2.5 minutes and forced them into an early timeout.
Well, to be honest, Dan, I think that's the best offensive start to a game we've seen so far today in this tournament.
Well, certainly by the less favored of the two teams coming in, that's for sure.
Very impressive effort there.
So if you're in that huddle, I'll put you, I'll do it in a second. Let me put you in that huddle down there. What would you be saying if you were the Angolan coach in that timeout?
Oh, at this point right now, you have to start dictating your will offensively and just continue to keep finding those open shots on the offense. But most importantly, you got to start spotting up on defense and making sure you're taking care of your assignments here, because Uganda's looking extremely comfortable shooting behind the arc right now. And if you're not getting a hand in the face, or at least getting a little bit physical with those guys off of the ball, then they're going to stay comfortable throughout this. And you might actually find yourself in a bit of a hole.
Well, they are in something of a hole already here. And trying to shoot their way out of it, but it's not working on that occasion. Good hands to bat that one loose. Here goes another three. Oh, not that time. But an offensive rebound and a stick back, and things going very much Uganda's way in the early stages.
That's an excellent rebound there. Give that one up to number 13. And Piguz.
Angola just can't get a bucket to go right now. And Piguz in there with the rebound, draws the foul as well. And it's Costa who's called for the infringement. And there's a substitution as well for Angola as Moreira sits down.
An interesting fact here. Uganda, they only have I believe they only have 2 field goals that aren't three-pointers so far.
And they're looking for another three-point shot. That one is short. And now a chance for Angola to get out on the run. Nice little Euro step going to the hole for Paulo. And, well, Angola have 4 points on the board in 4 minutes.
That's a good defense, though, there. Nothing unnecessary, no unnecessary fouls. Just get in the way and try and see if you can kind of knock him off. But, you know, once again, Angola, they're the cream of the crop here in Africa. Great finish.
He's trying to go hard. And finds his teammate Amani, who lays it in. That's a tough shot over Ositsi down there in the low block. And Uganda going to make some changes here.
And this is one thing we kind of discussed before the game. Uganda, a younger team, but they have the size. They've got that. One of the more important things you could have in basketball, especially in international tournaments like this, is when you have the size. And they have that to match just about anybody else in this tournament. And they're really showing it off right now. But the poise, though, is something I don't think Angola was expecting.
Well, foul called as Otim put the ball on the floor. And there's well, a bit of a lull in the crowd as well. There's a lot of people in here, but they're just, I don't know if they're recovering from the Senegal game or they're just a bit stunned by the start from Angola and Uganda and seeing the multiple champions trailing by 10 here early on.
Yep. Keep in mind as well, this is actually the first ever meeting between these two teams. They've never met each other before.
Tim fires up for 3. Good offensive rebound, and foul is called as Kawani tried to go back up with it.
You have to ask yourself, Dan, as well, the fact that Uganda has never faced Angola before, that might even have a bit of a factor here as far as the confidence that goes, well, you may be the 11-time champions, but you've never beaten us.
Well, they certainly have come out with all the confidence in the world here, Uganda. You just wonder if they can continue with the three-point shots. They've taken a lot of them here, and if you don't make enough of them, they can really start to hurt you.
Very true, as the first missed free throw there. And that can be the bane of the existence of all of these up-and-coming African teams here at AfroBasket 2017. When you miss both free throws like that, you just can't afford to do that against the higher level teams in this tournament. They will make you pay for it. You've got to take care of the little things. Oh, great closeout. Great closeout.
And the long rebound comes all the way back to Kaviri, and he lays it in for another 2. And Angola are down 12. So last AfroBasket's runners-up getting
great help.
Beaten here. It's very tight, by the way, in Group A. Nigeria 1 point up with a few seconds left against Cote d'Ivoire. Keep an eye on the final there. That would be an eye-opening result to see Nigeria lose on their first game of their defense.
Especially when they were up by as much as 12 at one point in the second half.
Tough shot. Again, another good defensive closeout. And it put Mingas off. Driving to the hole now. That's what you want to see from Uganda a little bit more.
Yeah, it was a good take to the basket, although I would have settled for a quick pass off at the last minute there. He got both defenders to commit to him. All he needed to do was shimmy it out there for a quick mid-range jumper or even attack to the basket for his teammate.
Sal will take the three-point shot. It's a little bit long. Move right behind that. Had a good line on it. And once again, get out quickly. And 2 points at the other end for Nabu.
And Nabu just showing absolute poise there, not worried at all. Defender draped all over him, just trusts his technique, takes the one step, finishing on the opposite end. Very impressive
Conceição's three yet again rims out. Is that a walk? I think he might have, yeah, he did. Just jump with it. Sousa in there, and that's what the referee saw. And wow, Angola 18-4 down here.
Uganda, the Silverbacks, this quarter alone is a bit of a statement here, and Angola's going to need to start refocusing themselves.
Nigeria have won, by the way, in that game in Tunisia, 78-77 against the Ivory Coast.
There's another mid-range jumper here.
20 points for Uganda in only 7 minutes. This is the fastest pace we've seen from any team in the early stages of the 4 games today.
Now, Angola, a very uncharacteristic turnover by them there.
Well, they're a bit rattled here, aren't they? It's almost like if you coach, do you call another timeout? You wouldn't want to burn them both in the first quarter, but you're 20-4 down. What can you do?
Well, more than anything now, Uganda needs to just keep this pace. Momentum, as we said, is everything in basketball, and you need, if you have it, just ride it out as much as you can. There's an attack to the rim, but it is a travel. And that's one of those turnovers you just can't afford to have. It was an open layup to the basket. All he had to do was just put it in, but I don't think he realized, he was surprised by how open he was and just kind of took that hesitating extra step.
I also wonder whether he was thinking, maybe I'll dunk this in.
Yep,
and then
definitely. It looked like he got that 2-foot gather there, and that's where he got the call.
I suppose it's not the end of the world when you're winning by 16, but you'd love to be winning by 80. And a chance to get it back here as Mingas is called for a foul inside.
Wow, very. It's a shove, no doubt. It just didn't seem like, just looked more like it was just creating some space there, but the referee believes otherwise, and now Uganda once again has an opportunity to continue building on this surprising lead they've gotten here in the first quarter.
Komakech moves it on. This time he will take it to the rack, and he will lay it in for 2. Kalwani.
Everything just going right. Even when it's rimming out, it rims right back in for Uganda. And look out, the Silverbacks, they're on the attack.
Cipriano throws it across court. And just out driving hard to the hole for 2.
And there it is. You're going to need to see a lot more of that now from Angola.
Nice head fake, and he goes again. This time kicks out. Kalwani, ball movement, finds the open 3 at the top of the key, but it doesn't drop for Otin.
Just a bad miss. It's a tough miss there because Uganda did everything right in that offensive set to get the open shot. Just got to keep knocking him down.
Cipriani with some nice handles there, but he can't finish the play off. 90 seconds to go in the first quarter, and Angola are down 16. They've only scored 6 points in the game so far.
That's not a good shot. You don't want to take that right now. Right now, Uganda playing with house money, taking some unnecessary risks on the offensive end.
That's a sound. Offered the screen, takes it, the switch is on. He drives in, he tacks hard, just reaching a little bit, couldn't get it to go, and Kalwani pulls in the rebound. Oh, just through the hands of the trailing Kalwani there.
It just caught him a little bit too far back. I don't think he was expecting him to cut so close towards him. The ball just bounced right off his chest.
Cipriano pulls up the 3. That doesn't go. It was almost like nobody wanted to rebound it, and somehow it ended up in Mingas's hands, and he lays it in. Will Angola get into double figures here in this quarter?
Yep. Uganda now, this is their 4th possession without a bucket. See if they can knock off this mini spell here we're seeing.
Kalwani this time opts for the pull-up, and nobody's got back, and Sousa out on the break, throws down the hammer.
There we go. Uganda, they need a response. They need a bucket here to finish off this quarter. 4 seconds. I don't think they realize how much time's left.
I don't think he does get it off in time, but front rims there from Komakech. But wow, what a 10 minutes we've had. Angola have only got 10 points on the board in those 10 minutes, and they find themselves in a 12-point hole, trailing 22 points to 10.
And make no mistake, though, Angola with a couple of quick baskets there at the last bit of that first quarter. And really right now it's just looking like Uganda, after that fire start behind the arc, is starting to kind of seize up just a little bit. But once again, they are up by 12.
Well, the shooting numbers don't lie. Look at Uganda's 75% from the floor. I said to you, I mean, I know Angola haven't made a three-point yet, but 11 threes in a quarter is a lot of threes. That's more than one a minute. So it's virtually every other play, maybe even more than that. They're shooting a three-point shot. And while they go in, that's okay, but I don't think you can sustain a game shooting 44 three-pointers and only making 12 of them. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, right now, that's not exactly the strategy you want to continue to keep doing, Dan. I think the very best thing that they can try and hope for at this point is continue to find the open looks, and that's something they've done incredibly well. If you have the open three, definitely you want to try and take it, as opposed to just running off more clock unnecessarily, trying to find a closer shot. However, something that Angola has not done is slow down Uganda. Uganda's been doing a fantastic job pushing the pace, moving up the floor. They're moving with purpose without the ball, and that's something Angola just has not done at this point. They're really just kind of going on an ISO and hoping that one guy attacking the rim is going to be enough, and it clearly isn't, because once again we've seen Uganda match their size and strength, and more importantly than anything, they're protecting their paint. They're protecting the defensive rebounds, meaning they're also limiting Angola's second chance opportunities for those baskets. Just about half of those points that we've seen in the first quarter from Angola came off of offensive boards or quick steals in the defensive end. And when you do that, when you limit those opportunities, you're giving Uganda the opportunity right now to build on their lead, but at the same time, this great defensive performance we're seeing, only allowing 10 points.
Well, you've got to feel that will change in the second quarter. You can't think that Angola are going to go through another period at such a slow pace of scoring. But I tell you what, if Uganda stay in the 20s, as the horn goes on the inbound.
And the clock's not on.
Yeah. If Uganda stay in the 20s per quarter, they'll be very close to winning this, if not winning this. If they get up into the 80s, it's tough to beat a team that scores in the 80s in international basketball.
Yep. And let's also remember, Angola, lately, they've actually been struggling against some of the better teams in Africa. They've been losing matches to Senegal, Nigeria, Tunisia. And Uganda, despite their rankings, genuinely believe that they can be in that level, if not by the end of this tournament, but very soon in the future. And when you have the size that they have, and like I said before, if they can continue to protect that paint, at the very least, they're going to give themselves a chance to win tonight.
Well, that was a sloppy, unfortunate one. And it gives Angola the ball back, and Conchita crosses the halfway line. Souza driving hard to the hole, can't convert. Good offensive rebound by Mingas, but he's fouled. Just a question of whether he was going back up. Yes, he was, so it'll be 2 free throws.
And this is one of those things we're seeing again here, where the help defense is coming even when it's not necessarily needed. If you're seeing your teammate, of course the coaches preach you need to help each other out, but if you're seeing that your teammate is able to stay right in front of him as he's attacking the basket, you don't need to rotate over. What you need to do is make sure that you're under the basket ready to get that rebound. And that's a big reason why Angola was able to get that offensive board, because there was only one red shirt under there, and that wasn't his man to box out. You have to be careful and be able to make the smart decisions on those help defense drives.
Mingus at the free throw line is off a bit long and a bit left on the first one.
I'll even say it doesn't. I don't even think that would have been a foul if it wasn't for the help defense.
But it is a point.
It is.
Komacich brings it forward, goes around the screen. He wanted to dump it off the other way, but they managed to keep possession of the ball. And that is a great offensive rebound, but couldn't make it go, Amoni.
That's a smart defensive play, though. Get back. Set up the perimeter. Defend your net.
A lot of space on the three-point line. There was a late closeout on Mingus, and eventually a foul is called on the rebound.
Uganda also kind of running into a bit of luck here, running into a very, very cold Angola shooting team. They've still yet to make a three-pointer in this game. But you don't want to just sag off the perimeter and let them get enough open looks. You have to keep the pressure on them. You have to keep them frustrated from there. But they have the length to do it.
Cipriano moves the ball around, conscious out, let's go for three, and that one drops. And cuts the gap down to 8.
Katsukao, very good shooter. Have to at least have a hand up there.
That's a bit of a lazy reach there at the other end of the floor.
That's on Cipriano, I believe.
Yeah.
Once again, we're seeing that kind of lull, and we saw Angola coming in looking very loose just before tip-off. Starting to think maybe just a little bit too loose.
Well, it's going to be 2 free throws here for Stefano Amoni.
And this is the first, and once again, we're going back to this. The lower tier teams in this tournament have been having such fits from behind the free throw line.
And it's batted up in the air, and well, did he keep it in? No, he didn't. He never quite had control of the ball there.
Second life here for Uganda. They have to get a bucket here. They've gone on a bit of a cold streak now.
That's good strength along the baseline for Pegues.
And there's that confidence, though. Takes the contact, finishing at the rim.
Can't finish at the rim there, Souza.
There's the importance, though, of the first shot went up, but you came down with a defensive board. Didn't give them a second chance opportunity. And here's the three.
It's a long way short.
No good. And he was calling for it, too. That's got to be frustrating.
Conceição moves it around. Good ball movement from the Angolans. Zip back out to Conceição. Shot clock into single figures as the drive goes in by Fortes, but no way through.
Fantastic defense and rotation from Uganda. They have all the energy right now.
Oh, great three. Manabu knocks it down. The handoff and space creation by Ositi.
Yeah, and Nanabu, they were able to just catch and shoot. Had all the time in the world, a clean look at the basket. And that's what happens when you play good defense. You give yourself a chance on the offensive end. Yep.
It's good offensive play there to draw the foul from Cipriano. But here's the look. Look how City does enough to take both defenders out and get his teammates some space, and that's just a good fake.
Absolutely. But once again, going back to what we were saying pre-game, if you're going to make mistakes, at least let them be aggressive ones against a team like Angola. You can't allow them to stay comfortable. You got to be physical. You got to try and push them around as much as you can, especially if you're a team like Uganda who actually has the size and strength to do it. So even though it's not a smart play, at least it's a play that's going to make your opponents uncomfortable.
And ball deflected out of bounds, so possession will remain with Angola. bit of perspiration on the floor, bit of dampness to be wiped up. Uganda's lead 13 right now. Cipriano from behind the arc doesn't make that one. More with the rebound. Gets it back again, fakes it the three, puts the ball on the floor instead, drives in, kicks out. Cipriano from behind the arc, hits the three, cuts it to 10.
There's the first three made by Angola, or sorry, the second one. There's Uganda though. Run the floor.
Just driving hard again, just change of pace and decided he was going for it, and the defense didn't react in time.
And you have to love that if you're a Ugandan fan. As soon as they get a shot, get right back to it. Excellent shot there though, but right at the other end, no hesitation. It looks like we're going to get a timeout here.
6:52 to go, still a 10-point lead for Uganda. It's been slightly slower pace here in the second quarter, but only ever so slightly. And they've been going pretty much basket for basket, and that'll suit Uganda.
Absolutely, and just once again, the importance of keeping their composure, and they're showing plenty of it so far.
Well, timeout has been called, and coming out of it, I think it's a tactical timeout, obviously, but I think it's also a little bit about getting a breather and just reinforcing the message.
See both teams head coaches hard at work right now, drawing up some schemes here to get both of their teams out of an offensive lull that they're kind of finding themselves in the second quarter. Uganda, before that that made basket, they were getting outscored. They were up 20-4 at one point, and since then they've been outscored 10-5. Or sorry, 10 to 13.
7 to 13. It's a long day.
Yeah, it is. This is our fourth game in a row with no break. So
here we go from the end line ball. Is there a foul, or is it? Yeah, it's a foul. He's right on the line, and I think it's conscious just gave him a little shove, try and get him to turn the ball over. So the referee wise to it. Sal will now sit down after picking up that second personal foul. Lobbed into a City, hands back to the guard, he steps back, that's a tough challenge. Almost went for a 4-point play.
Doesn't get much more confident than that. Pull up, hand in the face, falling back, and still manages to almost make it.
All right, call for the foul.
You could see it, he had his mind made up when he had that crossover. And for the fourth time in 4 games, we will have a 3-point free throw opportunity.
Pong at the line this time.
There it is, make your free throws. Save yourself the headache later. This, of course, is Robinson Opong at the line. He's had a couple of big threes to start off this game for Uganda. He's one of the reasons that they have the lead that they have right now.
And it's also the reason why the defender feels the need to dive out at him, because he's seen him make a couple of threes, so I've got to really go for it, and that's how he draws the foul.
Absolutely, and there he is, making all 3 of his free throws. And to add on to that, now he gets a foul on one of his opponents.
Moore hands the ball over, chance for 3 at the other end, but it doesn't drop in. Pong wants it back. He's not so keen to hand it to him, but they do get it now.
Good find.
And an open three is good for Amoni.
And Uganda now up 16 right now, almost doubling up the 11-time African champion Angola.
There's more. More again with the spin.
Nice idea, just didn't get a chance to really go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's an air ball, but it's okay. Uganda get the rebound, so even though the shot clock buzzer goes, we can play it live. Pull up three in transition from Opong, and Gonzalez hit the deck there. He's okay. Here's Herrera.
Really stripped it there. And then this time he
does.
does.
Second time.
Look at this. They're off to the races.
And Amoni lays it in. He got to call a timeout now.
Absolutely. And look at this, Uganda. I don't think I've seen and here it is off the fast break. Once again, Uganda out to run. And Amani, another big factor here as to why Uganda has this kind of lead right now.
Well, to be fair, you were sort of calling this, weren't you? You had a good feeling about Uganda coming into this game.
We did have that conversation last night. And even today, I mean, really just more than anything, they've been talking very highly of themselves. They've had good showings in these exhibition matches. As we said, they only lost to Egypt by one, a team that is usually considered one of the higher tier teams in Africa. They have the size more than anything, and I think in a tournament like this, if you have a combination of young legs and the size to go with it, also taking the fact that Angola has never faced Uganda before. This is the first time these two countries have met up in a FIBA game. And when you have that unknown factor there is no sense of past intimidation or past frustration of losing like so many other teams have had against Angola. Uganda, this is only their second trip to the big dance here, and they know, and really they've just been saying all the right things. Even when they started this game, they were all business. There was no smiles, there was no nothing. They just knew exactly what they needed to do, and as a result, this has actually probably been the cleanest style of basketball we have witnessed so far today, and they came ready to play in this tournament.
They certainly have. And what can Angola do in the next 5 minutes and some change here just to get things going in the right direction going into halftime, and then they can look to regroup a little bit, but they have to get it back a little bit first as Ras drives in. He can't convert, tipped in the air by Moriera. He eventually comes up with it and finds a way to score there, Moriera.
And that's one thing you want to avoid, though, if you're Uganda. Right there, you're seeing just a little bit of a lull on defense there. Guys just kind of standing and watching. But there's another foul, though. But on the offensive end, it's just one of these things we're noticing here, Dan, is that as soon as Uganda realizes that they have a lapse in defense, they make a point to go right back to Angola and make them work on defense as well. They force them to try and make those fouls and those aggressive shots. And if they keep making their free throws, they're going to be able to keep Angola at arm's length for quite some time in this game.
I think that's the third foul as well on Cipriano as he sits down. But yeah, I was a bit worried early on that they were a bit too in love with the three-point shot. But certainly in the second quarter, they've made a more concerted effort to attack the basket. And not only has it given them points, it's also racked up a number of fouls on Angola.
I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact that, you know, making those early threes obviously gives you the confidence to say, okay, well, if we can make that shot, then what other kind of shots can we make? And it gives you the confidence to say, okay, well, we don't necessarily need to kick out to the three because we know we have that right now. We're focused enough to be able to knock down those shots when we need to. But right now, if we've got this lead, why are we forcing up three-pointers? Let's just continue to keep attacking the basket, and the referees have been rewarding them for it.
Yeah. The confusion at the table is that the foul was on Cipriano, so actually it's his first, but on the scoreboard in the house it was given on Moraes, and that would have been his third, and they were a bit worried about that, so they checked it and they've corrected it. Costa onto Moore. Moore inside to Herrera, back out to Moore. Still trying to force it, kind of trying to force it. You can see what they were doing, but sometimes you've got to take what the defense is giving you, and if it's not giving you that, you have to do something different.
Yep, absolutely.
End line ball to Uganda with a bit of full court pressure, although it didn't really serve to any effect. Ball is loose, so City comes down with it. He jacks up the three off the back of the ring. He might get it again. No, he doesn't this time, because Gonzalez comes up with it. Uganda with the steal.
Oh, what a move. Oh, he just can't outbeat him, though.
And Gonzalez there won the foot race to the ball, but realized he wasn't going to be able to stay in bounds. But this is how you do it. You throw it where your teammate might have a chance.
Absolutely.
Gonzalez was basically stuck there, and he tried to convince the referee that City had given him a little nudge out of bounds, but the referee was right on the spot and said, no, he didn't.
Yep.
That's a Uganda ball. Alba again trying to drive in, has it ripped away from him, and a two-handed jam on the break from Paolo.
Here we go. Angola getting a turnover there to see if they can start creating something, but if you're Uganda, maybe an opportunity to try and slow it down but keep the ball moving. There you go, take advantage of the fact that Angola is trying to create something here out of nothing.
Here's another look at Paolo's fast break done.
A lot of athleticism on this Angolan team. To their credit, though, they've been creating turnovers. They have been doing that.
Well, 21 points, it's not quite enough, and 37 is a bit too many. So it's a bit of the worst of all worlds for Angola, but they got to find a way, even if they can just find, I don't know, 6, 7 points now, get it back down to 10 going into halftime, just to take a bit of momentum in.
Absolutely. And once again, Uganda missing those free throws. Can't afford to do that. Once again, that's just been a running theme in this tournament. A lot of teams just struggling. See if that changes by tomorrow.
Trying to get it into more, but the defense was wise to it. Tapped out of bounds. I think it was Otim who got a hand on it. It's an end-line ball. And then kind of lost Rice for a second. Found him again now. That's a better way of feeding Herrera. Can't convert though.
Spent the last season with the Raptors, 905 in the D-League. Won a championship there. That team actually had one of the best records in the NBA D-League history. He was a big part of that team. And there's a shot.
What a bucket from Apong there again from the three-point line. It's a 19-point lead. All right. Costa zips it inside. Good ball movement. Costa trying to reply with three, and they exactly do that.
There it is, Angola getting their offense in motion there. Some great ball movement, not forcing up any tough shots after one or two passes, staying patient and being rewarded for it.
Well, Morris was just looking at his finger there after that shot. It is heavily taped, his little finger, and whether he just jawed it on that shot or it slipped out of the hands of Paolo. Herrera able to keep it in bounds. Gets it back again to the hook off the glass, but no dice.
Herrera hanging his head a little bit there. He's got to try and pick himself up for his team here. They're going to need him.
Paolo called for the foul as he tried to steal it away. He's not really there for the stealing on that occasion, but I think that's one of those scoreboard pressure fouls. You look up at the scoreboard, you're like, we're 16 down, it's nearly half time, we've got to take a few gambles here.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, Uganda showing some otherworldly composure. It looks like all the talk before this tournament, they're backing it up so far. And Angola, you can just tell by the body language, they're not sure exactly what's going on right now.
Well, they need halftime, don't they? They need halftime.
Oh, definitely.
But what they don't want to do is go into halftime 20 points down. So they need to find some way in this last couple of minutes of just win these last 2 minutes. If it's by 2 points or 4 points or 6 points, doesn't matter. Just win these last 2 minutes and try and cut the arrears going into the half.
Absolutely, and how you do that is exactly how we saw them work that offense on that previous set. You can see on the camera here, the head coach trying to show them the importance of the spacing, the importance of continuously moving the ball with pace. Freezing up is not going to do them any good right now.
Let's wonder if they're going to play a little 2-3 zone here for the last couple of minutes.
It almost looked like that right now, but once again, they're just not, they don't want to allow Uganda to continuously get to the line the way that they have. Despite the fact that Uganda has missed a couple of these free throws, this man right here has been consistent.
Makes the first.
And Nabu doing a great job recognizing that, though. As we said earlier, they kind of abandoned the three-point shot a little bit over trying to clog the lane here. But this still might even play into Uganda's hands if they do go on with the 2-3 zone to get themselves some open looks outside now.
(24-42). 2 minutes to go in the first half.
I should have put a bet down on this game.
Here's Costa. Costa fires up for three, knocks it down. They needed that.
Oh, you heard me. Great shot there. Costa getting himself going here.
There's Kaveri. Around the screen. The three doesn't go from Opong.
That's one advantage, though, with that 2-3 zone is you're giving yourself an opportunity for limiting the second chance points. A lot of white shirts in the paint there.
It's batted out of bounds, and Uganda get it back.
There it is. And if you're Uganda right now, you don't want to finish off this last minute 22 without a point. You want to continue this scoring run that they're on right now throughout this entire first half.
Pong finds a little bit of space, but that's all he needs, and he's up to 12.
You can just see the form right there. As soon as he got up and let it go, very good chance that was going to go in. Angola, no hands up to block the shot. Get a clear look at the rim.
Here's Costa. Quick release three doesn't go. Tap loose. Both teams claiming it, but it's Uganda's possession.
And it looks like, trying to see who that was there that tipped it out last. I think it was Souza, who just got that one hand in between the Ugandan defender to knock the ball loose. And I think that's where the referee called it for Uganda.
Well, a couple of plays left in this first half. Uganda, if they get a three somehow here, new or old-fashioned, could be 20 up in halftime.
Great find on the inside.
Can't get it two. Chance to run if they can come up with the ball, which they do through Maras. Maras still going in. Floats one up off the back of the ring, but There's plenty of time for Uganda here.
It's a great finish. Nice. Good effort, though, to make sure. Get it across half court, set something up. We still have some time here. Ooh.
High archer doesn't go. There's still a chance to heave one up. It's blocked.
Oh, there's a block
on the buzzer. But what a fantastic half of basketball there for Uganda, playing the multiple champions of AfroBasket. They lead Angola 44 points to 29.
Once again, really just a combination of, really, I think that was the cleanest half of basketball we've seen so far today, and it came from Uganda, and they literally just did all the right things that they needed to do to win this game. They were patient on defense, not overreaching themselves, slowing down when they needed to, but also when they had an opportunity to go on a fast run, they did so. Whenever they made a mistake on the defensive end and Angola thought, oh, maybe this is the point we're going to get going, they came right back the other end, attacked the rim, and got themselves to the foul line.
Well, we're at the half. Uganda with a comfortable lead. Angola with plenty to do. It's a 15-point game here in Dakar. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in about 13 minutes' time. 20 minutes of basketball left here on day one. FIBA AfroBasket 2017 here in Dakar in Senegal. We've had 4 games today, well, 3.5. And, well, the biggest surprise of the day is on the cards right now. Angola trailing Uganda by 29 points to 44. We've seen Senegal win relatively comfortably. We've seen Morocco outlast the Central African Republic, and we've seen a big win for Egypt over Mozambique. Meanwhile, games have been going on in Tunisia as well, most notably Nigeria, the defending champions, just sneaking past Ivory Coast, 78-77 in that one. The host Tunisia are also off to a winning start, beating Cameroon 68-51. Good day all round here in FIBA AfroBasket, but will it be a really good? There's some of the Central African fans who were really loud and into it earlier on in the game. And, they've stayed on to enjoy the rest of the action here, and they've seen Senegal win, but will they see Uganda or Angola win here today? And through 20 minutes it looks more likely that it's going to be Uganda at this stage, leading as they do by 15, but you don't write off a team with the pedigree and the history and the caliber of Angola. And it's the Angolans who start the play off. Nice little pick and roll, and driving to the basket is Mingus, but with 5 seconds on the shot clock, sorry, it'll be an end line ball that Costa will inbound.
And there's something to notice right there with that Ugandan defense. Defender stayed in front, thus preventing any kind of a foul by just facing him straight up. The help did not need to come over. That's something that Uganda kind of learned from that first half, where anytime that they help it came over, they ended up just sending a player to the line, and they're learning to kind of trust each other on the one-on-one matchups right now.
Costa has to go. He's got to shoot, gets it off just in time, and off the back of the ring. And Uganda will have a chance to add to their lead, as Enabu, who was tremendous in the first half, doing exactly what he was doing there. That looked like it might have been tipped over the basket, legally so, on the way up. And that will count, and a chance for an M1 opportunity for Lionel Paulo.
Lionel Paulo, great attack to the rim there. He's feeling in his hip a little bit, though, as he tried to make that transition over his defender. You'll see it right here. He tries to carry the ball a little bit over, but probably got a little bit of the defender's knee and his hip right there.
Well, it's one of those as Opong sort of trying to get in the way, but in a way that the referee might not call a foul. He wasn't successful in that, and that one needed a little help from the ring there for that extra point, and cuts it down to 12. Oh, he's out of control there, Pagis, as he goes. Great outlet pass. Oh, and a nearly from Paolo. He got up really quick. It looked like he was going to run to the corner.
Yeah, he had an opportunity there to just kind of sneak it in, but not able to get it through, and now it's Uganda. Nice offensive board, the foul, but he's not going to be able to put it in.
Geese there just timed it. The two Angolans went up a little early, and he's just timed it well, got the rebound, and there's a chance to put it in. I was thinking a situation like this. What happens if Angola get it back to, I don't know, 7? What happens in the Ugandans' head? And also, if they keep this sort of lead into the fourth quarter, do they keep playing the way they're playing? Because often teams get drawn into, actually we can see the finish line. The closer you get to the finish line, you can see it, the more you worry about finishing rather than winning and doing it the way that you've done, and the psychology of a game like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that it's going to be their toughest challenge as an organization. I think up until this point, this will be the biggest victory they've had in their federation's history up until right now. And as the first free throws missed, but once again, we're getting back to the amount of missed free throws here would have allowed Uganda to continue to play the way that they want to play, and not have to be so conservative, and not have to think about, you know, oh, what if they draw within 7? Because if you're consistently hitting your free throws, you're always keeping them at arm's length. And that's something that Uganda's done a little bit better than most other teams in this tournament so far, but even they're having their weaknesses at this.
Menga moves it on, sets the screen, gets it back, takes the 3, top of the key, back of the ring. And Pagis says, I'll have that rebound, thank you very much.
Once again, Angola. Oh, there's a turnover, though.
And a good outlet pass, and Paolo jams it down.
There we go, down to 10. And going to need a timeout. Coach for Uganda, he needs the timeout. He needs to talk his guys down just a little bit.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because, I mean, that is a scrappy turnover. A great heads-up play to throw the pass quickly. But no, I was about to say, it's interesting because it's only 5 points that they've scored. It's not a huge run, and in another situation, you might not think, you know, if they were, let's say they were 3 up and went to 2 down, he probably wouldn't call a timeout. Yeah. But from 15 to 10, there's something psychological about it, which is why he's called the early timeout. Oh,
absolutely. I mean, especially you got to look at who you're facing on the other end of the floor. Those are literally the most decorated. That's the most decorated team in your zone, in your continent, and you're trying to go up against them right now. You've never faced them before, as we've said.
We've seen some of the best of international basketball today, and we're continuing to do so as this game is heating up nicely. But what happens if is the question I posed. And let's see, even if it just gets back to single figures for a minute or two, how does it affect? Well, we'll see as the City gets ready to inbound the ball, playing his games at the City Oilers these days. He's traveled the world as a basketball player, and very proud representative of his country. Great block. They do get a stop here, Angola, and a chance to get it back to single figures. And Minga's driving down the lane. He was caught between 2 minds as whether to shoot or pass, and he ended up with a poor shot. And good offensive rebound, good head fake, and here comes Pagis on the trail, and he lays it in.
Excellent finish there. Police attacking the basket, and once again, it's just that second effort. Uganda, they've just been outworking Angola on those offensive boards, giving themselves multiple opportunities.
Driving hard through the contact, and there is a chance to get it to single figures now with a 3-point play.
Once again, the composure of Angola now Here it is, staying patient, nice find, drive to the basket. Almost looked like he might have gotten a little bit of contact there, but and then just right on the other end though, definite contact on that one.
No doubt about that one. But he went through it well. And Lionel Paolo, 31-year-old, chance to make it 9, which is exactly what he does.
There it is now. First time that Angola's been only down by single digits since early in the first quarter.
Here's Pugliese again attacking hard. Good stand in front of him by Mingus. Ball is loose on the floor. Angola comes up with it. And running hard is Moraes, and he draws the contact, and I think he'll go to the line.
You just see as a defender, there's really not much more you can do in that situation.
It's just a bit of the leaning forward, not quite being straight up. That's the difference between no foul and a foul. Now here's the thing, I posed this question at maybe a couple of minutes more in the first quarter, when things were starting to get away from Angola, was do you call a second timeout? Having called one, you don't really want to burn it this early. You do get 3 in the second half instead of 2. But okay, he makes this free throw at 7, a stop and a score. Do you call another timeout if you're Uganda, or do you just have to ride it as a coach?
And you feel like at this situation, you almost want to take the chance of calling the timeout.
Whoa! Nearly stolen away by D'Souza.
And then once again, this full court press, that's another thing we haven't had a chance to mention yet, is that Angola's been running various full court presses this entire half. And as a result, Uganda has been losing possession each time.
Oh, Pugliese just bobbled the ball. It comes back to our city. Pugliese is there with the... Away come Uganda now, and it's stolen back by Angola, attacking hard to the hole, and the foul is called.
Uganda hanging tough though, still holding an 8-point lead here. You can see the momentum has visibly shifted towards Angola, as we almost kind of thought this might happen in the third quarter.
Well, you knew you were going to get a response from Angola, and it's just about how big it is and how well Uganda dealt with it. And again, it's a weird thing that happens in a situation like this. It makes no sense because they're up 8. you know, there's no need to panic. You're winning by 8.
Yep.
Maybe it'll go down to 7 if he makes the free throw, but you're still in the lead. But you start to play a little bit differently because you're trying to protect something, and you're looking and going, well, we were up 15.
Absolutely.
And you sort of think, well, that didn't matter.
Yep. It is weird how the mental game goes, especially when the full court press is in effect. It just does something to teams, especially if it's run properly.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not about stealing the ball, but what it can be about is forcing turnovers. And I know it sounds like the same thing, but actually make them make a mistake rather than you trying to force the mistake.
And that's even more frustrating if you're the opposing team.
But it's an easy trap to fall into. Another missed shot. Paolo with the save gets it out to Costa. Off and running.
He's got to try and go for that steal. See, that's a steal he would have went for in the first half.
Yeah. Marasso,
you can't play scared.
Gets it.
There it is again.
Ross moves it on. Costa fires up for 3. It's good, and the gap is down to only 4. Midway through the quarter, what a great start to the second half by Angola.
Once again, we're seeing it right here, why they are as decorated as they are, and it looks like now there's going to be a call against Angola, though. That's on number 9.
Paolo. Well, the thing is, as we look back at this 3-point shot, they scored 10 points in the first quarter, Angola. They scored 19 points in the second quarter. We're midway through the third. They've got 17 already. They've just found a way to get things going in their direction. And now Uganda just have to hang on for a few minutes. Just regain your composure. And remember, you're still in the lead at this stage.
Absolutely. We'll see if they can do it, though. They've had the confidence so far. You can see even the nerves there. Just grab the basketball.
And off the back of the ring doesn't go.
You don't necessarily want that kind of offense, though. You want to move the ball around, keep everyone engaged, keep them confident.
He's trying to go to work. Did he walk with it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, great timing there on the physicality, though. That was Kawani. At the last minute there, he just timed it perfectly, the right shove to kind of knock the Angolan player off balance there and causing the travel.
4 minutes to go in this third period, which has been dominated by Angola, but have Uganda steadied themselves? Time will tell. Nice pass inside, no finish though, and eventually more with the rebound.
That one could prove costly. 2-possession game now.
Deflected out of bounds by Kaviri. Sideline possession with Chokelo, you see there. That was smart play because he was falling over. I don't know how he lost his balance, but he was falling over and he would have turned it over. Conceição lets it go for 3. That's another one that he's fired where it was a long way short but had a good line. And there's a good 3 for Fortes on the other side.
Fortunately, one of the Ugandan players was falling back there hoping that one of his teammates would get a rebound so we can get a quick basket on the other end, but as a result left his man open.
Well, that's the second time in this game where defender diving out. In this case, it was Gerson Gonçalves diving out a 3-point shooter. Here's the one at the other end. They didn't dive out in time.
There it was, wide open.
Got to give him space to land.
It's just one of those things.
Why he'll go to the line for 3.
Yep. You want to take your chance, though. Do you want him to start shooting the ball like that? Again, getting hot from behind the arc? Or do you keep the physical pressure up right now while you have Uganda on the ropes?
Well, first one looked a bit tight, didn't it? It's a long way short, that.
Yep.
What can Cyrus Kaviri do with his second attempt? That is good.
Uganda shooting 50%, which is still a little bit better than what we've been seeing today, but Angola 75%, absolutely making the most.
And it looked like they were all in too early, but it doesn't really matter as he makes the free throw, and the break in play allows Pagis check back in. Sitting down is Jonah Hotim. Nice little, really high arcing shot from Gonçalves there. Threw that one up to the roof.
Excellent composure though. Defender in his face knocks it down.
Gonçalves span underneath that. I think there's a foul called in the paint.
There is. It's going to be on.
Is it Kalawani?
I believe it is, number 12 for Angola.
Oh no, sorry. Thought it was an offensive one that the referee was signaling, but it's Ambrosio.
Yeah. Felizardo Ambrosio with the foul on that one.
So Pagis will go to the foul line, line up a couple. Currently playing his club basketball in Mexico.
He's been a big factor here for Uganda. A couple of really important offensive boards and putbacks, slashing to the rim.
Makes them both. I always find it weird, guys who bounce the ball. There's not many of them, but bounce the ball behind their back on the free throw line. I'm always intrigued by different free throw routines. Everybody has a different one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter as long as it works for you, but the whole bouncing it behind the back I've never quite got, but hey, works for him.
It does, and those are some two very big free throws for Uganda. Re-extends their lead now back up to 2 possessions.
Fortes running backwards and forwards along the baseline, but not seeing the ball. Here is Moore at the top of the three-point line, and there's a push in there, and the referee appears to be pointing at Jimmy Anubu.
That's going to be a costly foul here. You just have to try and find your footing when those rebounds come off, especially when you're lucky enough to get a missed shot.
Well, here's another look, see if you can see it. It's hard to tell from that angle, but the referee was clear. That's a terrible free throw there. I think it came off the backboard before it got to the ring, and it was off left as well from Gerson Gonçalves.
It makes the second though. Here we go.
Makes the second so clean, you wonder how the first one was so far off.
We've been seeing that a couple of times.
Maybe it's just getting used to the sight line in the gym. It's the first time he played it.
That's the truth.
Pagis taking the long way around, too long. And he's whistled for extra steps. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Angola trying to fight their way back here. They've got it down to 4, and they have possession of the ball. And they have a foul called.
There's another one.
Joseph Icon. Again, he's inviting the referee to make a call there, I think, by the way he's sort of got his arm across.
Yeah.
And over the limit, free throws coming. Jacques Conceição just wiping his hands dry before he takes his first free throw.
Knocks it down. This is what it's going to come down to. Who's going to be more disciplined on the defensive end, as that's really been the only way either team has been scoring in the past I'd say about 3 minutes of this quarter.
Well, Angola have put more points on the board in this quarter than anybody has in the game so far, with their 24 in this period. Uganda had a couple of 22s in the first half, which is how they built that big lead. That's a kick ball. Shot clock was at 13. We'll tick another second onto that.
Once again here, it's Uganda, another very pivotal offensive possession for them. See if they can try and get themselves back into some sort of offensive rhythm.
Otim inbounds. City gives it back to him. Good head fake, but it's blocked, and the follow there from Pegues.
How essential has he been for Uganda, cleaning up the trash, if you will, every single time that ball is rolled off the rim. He has been there.
Rosa there with a good block, but didn't get any help from his teammates. Got just slipped momentarily. Now he's trying to find some space. Shot clock low. Moore has to get this one off. He hasn't got time for the pass. Oh, there's a foul right on the shot clock buzzer, and that will count for 2, and a chance for a third that would make it a 2-point game.
2-point game. And there's the fake. And Pegues right there. The Angolan defenders. Then on the other end, and this has been a recurring theme now, a lot of and ones and under the baskets here for Angola. That's a big reason why they now have a chance to make it a one-possession game.
And it is down to 2. What a third quarter this has been for Angola, doubling them up 28-14. And that's tipped off. That'll be a goaltend. That basket will count.
And a foul too to count it.
So,
getting back to what we were seeing in that first half as well. As soon as Uganda had seen that they'd made a defensive mistake, well, they take the initiative and attack right to the basket, trying to get a call. The referee gives it to him, plus the composure to finish it. And Pegues has been the MVP for Uganda in this third quarter.
He's closing in on a double-double now, 15 points and 8 rebounds. He's only missed 1 shot in the whole game. Moore lets fly from behind the arc. Long rebound comes out to Gonzalez, and they can reset here.
Gets the fine. And loses it. It's out of bounds. And Uganda survive another assault.
45 seconds to go. Sorry, it's Komakech brings it forward. Here is now Anabu.
Finds it.
And
what
knocks down the jump shot.
That is so important there for Uganda, taking advantage of the defender slipping, creating the open space for yourself. And he's fired up his bench there.
Well, they've stopped the game. I'm assuming it's because the scoreboard at the left end has gone off. The one at the right end has still got the time and the score properly, but it went off about a minute ago and nobody noticed, really. We carried on playing. It's only now, with 11 seconds, when the team's attacking the basket with the scoreboard that's working, that it's become an issue.
You can see the time's a little bit different here, but once again, I mean, this has been quite the exciting third quarter here between Angola making their run that we all knew was eventually at some point going to happen, but Uganda still hanging tough, still holding on to their lead.
Well, it's back up and working. 17.5 seconds to go. Once the foul has the shot clock is switched off, so they can run this right down. Into Moore, shot loose. And they've got to go quick here. They haven't got too much time. Oh, it's blocked from the halfway line. And oh! It was a bit of a aid for Baghees, but it almost went in. What a bizarre last 17 seconds those were. But the 10 minutes before were pretty one-way traffic for much of it, as Angola came all the way back. And they still trailed, though, 56-63 to Uganda at the end of 3. So the question I have to ask here is, how are Uganda feeling now? Because they saw their big lead disappear. They saw their big lead disappear, Uganda. But in the last, I don't know, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, they seem to have steadied the ship a bit. They've gone back to almost playing the game as the game rather than the, oh no, we were up 15 and now it's all gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking at these stats here, once again, Uganda showing the composure that they need, shooting over 50% from the field in the 2-point range. 3-point range is dipped just a little bit, but they've all but kind of abandoned their 3-point strategy.
Well, you think they had 11 3-point attempts in the first quarter, and they've had 10 in the two since then.
Exactly. So they've all kind of but given away. But that's that 13 and 23 in the free throws there has just been an absolute killer. They've managed to get themselves to the line consistently, but if they were able to just finish their free throws, if they're even just making half of those, then you'd be feeling considerably better about all of this right now if you're Uganda. But regardless, they took some of the best haymakers that Angola had to throw at them. And right now they're still not only up, but they're up by multiple possessions, which is going to give them an opportunity that even if they come out here a little bit flatter, if they make a couple mistakes, they still have an opportunity to hold on to this lead and more or less reaffirm themselves that the strategy that they were using was working. And they've got to be willing to, once again, start playing a little bit more loose and free the way that they were in that first half. But once again, kudos to this team. Once again, this is a very young organization, young team going up against weathered champions. And to be able to create this kind of an advantage so far and still hold on to it is nothing short of impressive.
Well, it's Uganda who get us started here in the fourth quarter. The clock isn't ticking at one end, it's ticking at the other end. I don't know that they've noticed it yet. And it's knocked loose by Fortes, and now the clock's gone off at that same end. It's having some issues with that. It has the score, but not the time.
The other end is still working, though, so it's looking like they're going to continue play here.
Well, as City sets the screen, they jumped out, and that just let Nubu go straight through, but the shot is no good.
That was a great hedge there by the Angolan defender, number 23. He got a way out there.
Moore moves it on into the corner off the front of the ring. Great offensive rebound and stick back there from Ambrosio.
You cannot allow that if you're the Ugandan defenders. There's a whole bunch of red shirts around him. It didn't matter. He was able to go up and finish.
City lets fly. Oh, in off the glass. I'm not sure he called it, but it doesn't matter.
It does
they
not.
Don't draw pictures on the score sheet.
Excellent shot there. There's that confidence, though, we saw from Uganda in the first half, re-emerging itself a little bit. And even though there's a foul there, and it's going to be Reggie Moore that's going to go to the line here.
He just kind of lost his footing slightly, which gave the defender a chance more. If you watch, he just then it was not quite as quick as he would have liked. Otherwise, he might be going to the line for one rather than two. No, and he misses the first. Plays for the Petroleus club in Angola. And he makes the second.
That's good to see.
I think the City's going to sit down here on the substitution.
You see that this is a veteran team, as we've said multiple times during this broadcast, the importance of making your free throws. This is a team that does not mess around at the line. They're shooting, I believe, just under 80%.
So he kind of got trapped there. He got it back out. And good box out from Moore.
Absolutely. And that's a box that we weren't seeing earlier in this game, that Angola is now finding that fourth gear, if you will.
Here's Moore. He kicks it on off the back of the ring. It's batted out. And Moore has it again. And they considered another three, but go inside to Moore instead. And he got caught on the arm. And once again,
you can see that Moore, he posted himself up at the point. Guard was looking for the screen there, but he was saying, no, give me the ball, I got this here. And you can see in the replay, he had his mind made up right away of what he wanted to do. Used that left hand, got it right in front of the defender, and he's big and strong enough where he can still release it without getting blocked.
To be fair, he's got about 15 centimeters on Jimmy Anobu, who's guarding him, or 6 inches.
All the more reason to call for the ball.
Yeah, and he's probably got a few kilos of muscle extra as well.
No doubt about that.
(61-66) is the score. And again, the up-court pressure, which has really caused Uganda some problems in the second half.
Yep, there's some man-to-man too this time. They've been giving him all sorts of different formations and looks.
On to Sal, trying to keep the ball handler in front of him. Nice pass.
Good find.
Oh!
Excellent find.
They just kept looking, and there was Anobu to knock down the three.
That's that Uganda we saw in the first quarter. Move the ball around, take advantage of the over-aggressiveness of Angola.
Oh, but a three to reply at the other end. A little pump of the fist as well.
Miller's excited.
Ambrosio. What was he doing there? What was he? It was almost like he was on the same team the way he threw it to Moore.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to cut in for the post and then cut back out at the wrong time.
Back-to-back threes, and all of a sudden it's down to 2 once again. This time it's Marias who hits the three, and Uganda are forced into a timeout.
Excellent work there. What a shot there. It's full advantage of Uganda's mistake. You just can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes against Angola.
Wow. Timeout has been called by Uganda. 7:05 to go. Angola closing in at 67-69. And again, it's one of those things. I talked to you earlier about the psychology of having a big lead and seeing it disappear. The psychology of leading for the whole game and then going behind in the fourth quarter is also something that can mess you up.
Excuse me, without question, when you have, especially the way that you had just done it there with literally giving the basketball away to your opponent and for them to walk right back up and make it a 2-point game, no matter which way you slice it, that's going to be a very disheartening way to kind of give up the shot. It's one thing to give it up off a good shot and be like, okay, that's fine, we're still in this, but when you're literally beating yourself like that.
There is also the other flip side of that coin is how many times you see a team get behind by 15, 18 points, get all the way back to the mountaintop and sort of go, we're back level now, and then suddenly, you know, 2 plays later they're down 5 or 6 and have to try and do it again. So it's not, it'll just be interesting to see how the teams react should Angola get in front or level here. And first of all, there's a foul called.
And that foul was committed on number 6, Robinson Apong. Again, you see here, He reached in at the last second, was able to knock the ball loose, but the referee saw the hand reach in there.
Cipriano called for it, and I make that his 4th personal foul. There's a substitution the other way with Amoni going to sit down. Oh, another careless turnover.
That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt mentally.
There's more inside again, yeah. But they still have it. Conceição with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Round the screen, cuts through the double team, loses the handle, and the ball is picked up by Pong. He's off and running.
There it is.
And Moore just didn't want anything quick to happen, so committed the foul.
That's a savvy move there by the vet. Doesn't want to give. They knew they just gotten a freebie back, couldn't convert on it by losing the dribble in the paint. But once again, we're seeing Uganda, even when they're making mistakes, they're still making up for it. They're still finding other ways on the other end of the floor to keep themselves in the lead. And they've done an excellent job at defending their paints throughout this entire game, regardless of how well or how terrible they've been shooting in certain stretches.
Good stand, nothing wrong with that from Ambrosia. Just allowed his man to smash the ball into him, really, and knock it loose.
Excellent defense there. Uganda, they've got to find another way, keep the ball moving. There's an open 3.
And there is a made 3 from Moore, and there is Angola in front, 70-69. Well, they have come all the way back, and they have gone in front, thanks to that Reggie Moore triple. And what do Uganda do from here with 6 minutes to play?
Find the open man. Keep playing. Keep playing.
The ball is loose, and they didn't really communicate very well at the back there, Angola.
This is the first lead for Angola since early in the first quarter.
But it's how the two teams react to this situation. Oh, it slipped out of Apong's hands. Costa will chase that down all the way to the corner, and he will escape out.
Uganda needs a stop now. Up, there's another one.
And there it is again from Moore. Back-to-back triples, and Angola lead by 4.
There it is.
Well, what a turnaround here in the second half. It's 15 points at halftime. In some ways, they were lucky to get to 15 as well.
There's another miss, though, but second chance opportunity.
Well, there was only one guy going after the boards, and they managed to come up with it. And then the City hits a big triple.
And the City, he's been the guy for them in this game. Whenever they've needed a big shot, he's been the one to deliver. Excellent shot there.
Moore again, this time putting it on the floor, taking it to the basket under all sorts of pressure from the City.
Look up. There he is.
And there you go. 5 points in quick succession, having been behind. Uganda have got themselves back in front and forced Angola into a timeout. It's 73-74, and there's 4:40 to go here in this one.
We've got ourselves a treat here. A nice, exciting game to close out day 1 here at AfroBasket 2017. You see the kick out, and the City just stepping up, calm, cool, collected, follows through, nothing but net.
Well, the interesting thing as we watch the replay of the fast break layup as well by Omni is that City 3-point shot. It was batted all the way out to him, but all 4 guys were going the other way. They'd all given up on it, if you like.
Yep.
And were headed back on defense, but they didn't need to because there was Kawani inside to just bat it out to them.
Once again, Angola looking for some options here, and this is a tense game. Uganda, win, lose, or draw. This will be a memorable experience for them for their opening game here in AfroBasket 2017. And I can imagine that no matter what happens after this game, they're going to walk out of this still believing they can beat anybody in Africa. But we'll see if they can actually get the win on paper right now, as Yannick Moreira has checked back into the game as well. They're going to need his height. Grab some of those rebounds, all 6'11" of him.
And they might go inside to him on the low block straight away, but force round, that pass a little bit low, but it's round to Mingas on the other side. Head fake, step back, three-point shot is good for Moras. And now Angola are back in front by 2.
There it is, though. Will Uganda have the ability to respond, as they have so many times in this game already?
And Pong's been the man for many of them, but he just lost his footing. As a result, he stepped out of bounds.
Just slipped just a little bit.
Well, you can see there on the pitch is that Moras is not comfortable with that finger at all. It's heavily strapped, and it's been playing on his mind during the game, but not enough to stop him from knocking down a big shot like he did on the last play. And here he is again. Cipriano moves it on. They go down low. Good dump off. 3 seconds, is it? Yeah.
3 seconds. Moreira can't believe it. Trying to smile it off.
It's one of them where if you're in there for a long time, the refs will let it go. But as soon as the ball comes to you, they're going to ping you for that straight away. Pong, tough shot, front rims, and Moreira pulls in the rebound.
That's not the shot you wanted for Uganda. You're only down by 2.
Moreira again for 3. He's knocked down another one, and they're down by 5 now.
And is this it? As Angola finally came up for good with 3 minutes remaining.
Well, it's been an amazing second half comeback, that's for sure. They're a different team. City puts it on the floor. Pugis wants it inside. He's barreling his way through, tosses it up, but it doesn't go.
I hope he's not going to get the call that time. Excellent defense, staying in front of their man.
Moras hands it over. Cipriano, he thinks about the 3, turns it down because he saw the big man chasing him out. That was not the best pass there, I don't think, to Moreira. The little bounce pass probably needed a shovel pass to his hand.
Yeah, he was pointing up. He was saying he wanted a little bit higher there, maybe even almost for an alley-oop. He's got the length.
3 on the last play. 2.5 minutes to go. Uganda have led for most of the game. A City trying to get them back in, and a City hits another 3-pointer.
I think it's become clear now. They need to keep finding the City. Feed the hot hand. If he's open on the wing for a 3, let him shoot it. The 37-year-old still has something left in the tank.
And, well, they're all flying in this time. Ambrosio's shot doesn't go, but a great rebound. Oh, he couldn't hang on to it, though, Costa.
Got to find the City.
And Abu has it. He calls for the screen. Here is the City. Fakes the 3, dumps it inside. Pugis looking to go to work with a little up and under off the glass.
Oh,
soft touch. We're tied at 79 with less than 2 minutes to go.
There's the composure, the 2 veterans hooking up there. Carrying the young fellas right now.
Costa trying to get it in, and there's the City knocking it loose. Out of bounds. End line ball for Angola. There is 13 seconds on the shot clock. There is 1:39 on the game clock.
I'm going to get a sub now.
Overtime, a possibility here with 99 seconds to go.
It's true.
Moras for 3, that one's a little bit short, was drifting a bit away to the right as well.
Not a very smart decision there. He had a little bit of time to get himself a little bit more square to the basket before letting it go.
Nabu, a little stop and go, drives in. The City's at the top of the 3-point line, but they don't need him because there's Amoni to knock down the jumper in the lane. And put Uganda back ahead by 2. Timeout is called with 1:19 to go in the ball game.
And one thing about this Ugandan team, they have a never say die attitude, and we're seeing that on display right now. But Angola making some very big shots in this fourth quarter, take the lead, get themselves back into it. Now it's literally anyone's game. But I think to answer your question you had earlier about what Uganda might be thinking after giving up such a big lead, I think at this point they're believing that, well, no one gave us a shot to begin with. And I think the best way that they can just continue to keep moving is anytime there's something that's negative that's happening to them, they just find ways to counteract it, find ways to get the open man. And they've got the veteran presence on this team as well to make sure that those shots fall and they get those opportunities whenever they present themselves.
Well, we had a brief glimpse into Coach's playbook there. It looked like some sort of weak side screen to try and free somebody up in the corner. There were no names or numbers on it, so it's hard to know who it is, but we got a rough idea of how the Angolans are planning on this. And surely Maras, as we see his numbers, 5 of 7 from the three-point line, is going to be one of those guys that they might look to get open in the corner. Certainly with shooting like this. Has he got another one in the tank? Because if he hits another 3, his team are back in front. And they get it into him. And he says, let's do it on the opposite side.
See if we can free up the space here.
Well, they've worked a 3, but it's not Maras. He can't convert. Offensive foul is the call. A little push inside there on Mingas.
That's a free throw.
It is, because they're over the limit. Are they? No, they're not over the limit. Well, we're going to get a timeout anyway while we work that one out, as Uganda call for their 3rd timeout. So this is their final roll of the dice.
This is a great decision here by the coaching staff, though, as you could see that Angola was already setting up for a full court press. And Uganda, recognizing that with just over a minute left, they have to take care of the basketball here. There's really only time for about 2 or 3 possessions at most left over if both teams take care of the basketball. And they cannot allow Angola to pressure them into making unnecessary mistakes.
Well, it's always one of those, the timing of that last timeout in a close game like this. Do you save it because you might need it on, you know, to advance the ball and get a shot off with a few seconds left, or do you use it here because if you come up with a good play and get a good score, then you suddenly make it a 2-shot game, and then you might not need to advance the ball in that last 2 seconds. It's all strategic dilemmas that coaches have to go through at this stage of close games.
Once again, though, I think right now, given the fact that Uganda, they've done such a great job setting up their offense on the half
back
court.
at some of the city's 3-pointers. 6 of 11 he is from behind the arc.
He's comfortable. Even when he's high-fiving defenders, he's looking very comfortable out there taking those shots. You've seen almost no reaction from him in a game that's had so many emotional reactions. Every time he's knocked down one of those 3s, he stayed calm, cool, and collected. He knows that there's still more work to be done with a minute left.
Well, Amoni will inbound, and then he'll come get the ball right back off Helwani and hand it over to Anabu on the screen. Amoni in the corner trying to drive baseline. He's got himself trapped. He throws it out. Big shot at the top for 3. He's gone! What a bucket for Uganda! Is there a timeout called? Yes, there is, but what a shot that is. Absolutely unbelievable from Robinson Apong right at the top. He's got all the time to think about it. String music for 3, and Uganda with 50 seconds to go lead by 5.
Unbelievable find there in the corner. The double team was on. It looked like a turnover was certain. Throws it up to the heavens. And who catches it, brings it down. What a shot.
Well, interesting here that this is the last time out of regulation. So the coaches won't get any more interaction with the players unless and until we go to overtime. But 5 points Angola are going to have to find, so they need to score here. Score, stop, score is what they'll be hoping for right now. There's still enough time for it, but the coaches won't be able. It will be up to the players really here the last 51 seconds.
Really, both teams looking like they're up to the task here. This is, what a finish for day one here.
Tremendous bit of drama right at the end, rewarding the fans who stayed on to watch this last game after Senegal's victory earlier. He's enjoying himself with his whistle. Right, Costa to inbound for Angola. They must score. They could do with doing it quickly. Cipriano for three off the back of the ring. It's batted loose out to Moore, fakes the three. Cipriano round the screen, slips a little bit. It's good for Moreira, and he gets a bonus free throw as well. So a chance to make it a 2-point game with 36 seconds to go.
Yannick Moreira, we've seen him do that plenty of times. Back home in Mississauga, the Raptors 905. And what a finish there. This hasn't been a good game for him. There's make no bones about it. He's been struggling throughout this game. But he shows up at just the right time. Now he's got a chance to make this a 2-point game.
Playing in Russia now. And he misses it, but a chance for an offensive rebound. He gets it. Oh, there was a look of a shot there that would have tied the game.
Uganda, a team that's been doing so well throughout this game of protecting their own paint, have given up 2 consecutive offensive boards with only 30 seconds remaining.
Cipriano turned it down, but here he takes it and he makes it! Cipriano ties the game at 84 with 30 seconds to go. Well, they cannot quite run this down. There's about a 4.5, 5 second differential between game and clock. But remember, there's no timeout, so if they score, they'll be very close to winning it. Ebanu drives in, loses it, out of bounds, and Angola get it back.
Unbelievable.
Well, I think he went a bit too soon, if nothing else. 12 seconds, 11.8 there are. Here comes Maras crossing the halfway line, waving away the screen, ticking it down. 3, 2, he's got to go. Maras drives in, Maras tosses it up. We're going to overtime, people. An extra 5 minutes of basketball are on their way. I think Maras should have took the screen there, but he wanted to go it alone. Didn't get the score, and we are inseparable here at the end of 40 minutes. A really seesaw game, and overtime ensues. It's 84 apiece.
What an incredible finish to regulation here. Really, Uganda once again giving Angola chance after chance to get themselves back in the game. They do so, and they paid for it, but still holding steady, defending the paints right down to the final seconds.
Well, it's a late night here for the fans. This was the 3. This was the one that tied it. Super shot, drives in. Oh, he bounced off his knee. Couldn't see it from our angle. That's how he lost it out of bounds. He just needed out of bounds.
Unfortunately, you see that kind of take to the basket, though, but you have to kind of ask him what exactly was his plan going into 3 shirts with the ball and no one around him.
I think they kind of spooked him as well because he wanted to pass, and they kind of jumped out a little bit to make the pass difficult. But those Central African fans who've been here a long time now. That game, what time did that tip off? 3 o'clock, I think it was.
They've been at it for...
It's just gone 11 o'clock local time here in Dakar. And, you know, we got at least 10 minutes to go in real time left here, maybe a bit more. What a fantastic way to round off the opening day of AfroBasket here, 2017 even.
It's a very, very entertaining game. The fans, they got a treat tonight.
Well, everything else is finished in this tournament. The games in Tunisia are all done. So this is the last one standing, and we keep going. Another 5 minutes on the game clock. Angola with the ball to start the extra period.
And the Silverbacks now have a chance to prove if they are just that. The Silverbacks of Africa, the top dogs, they got a chance to knock out one of the, or at least defeat one of the best teams in African basketball. Can they shock the continent?
Cipriano on the horns. Double screen goes left. Good strong drive into the basket, and Moras is there to get his own rebound and stick it back. Angola have the first score.
Here we go. It's right back to 0-0.
Well, Uganda just needs to start overtime like they started the game. And Angola needs to start overtime like they started the second half.
Yep. I don't think Angola, though, is going to give them the quarter, if you will, to get hot like that from behind the arc like they did in the beginning. Uganda's going to have to grind this one out.
It's inside the He's driving along the baseline. Didn't quite have enough spin on that for it to drop in, and Moreira with the rebound. Costa brings it across the halfway line. Cipriano fakes the three. Moore thought about it. Handed it over to Costa instead. Gets it back. This time Moore will take the triple off the back of the ring. Great work from Costa to chase it down.
There's that
get
long
a new
rebound.
14. I'm not sure if he had a little piece of that, but it was a long way short from Moras. It was either a little blocked by a Pong, or he's just a bit tired. I'm not sure.
Well, just maybe a little bit of both there, as we saw the defender flying right in. It looks like there is a foul there. Just got a little bit of the hand as he went for the ball.
Well, amazing. We're in overtime, and it is free throws. I was about to say, it's amazing we got to overtime and it's not free throws on a foul. But to be fair, Uganda only committed 3 fouls in the fourth and overtime, so they've still got 1 to give. You don't see that very often in a game.
Nope.
Normally those close games, somebody somewhere is having to commit a foul.
They played very disciplined defense, and once again another missed free throw, and they just keep tallying up for Uganda. Shooting just under 50% now.
Jimmy Nubu missing it. Oh, he's missed them both. The ball is loose. They're able to come up with it through Costa. Cipriano stops, pops for 3 from rims. Oh, great tip from Moreira, and it goes in from Moreira in the end. It's a 2-shot game now. Oh, look at the speed. Oh, he just slipped as he went for the basket. He just slipped. It's out of bounds. They'll get it back. Well, you can see he was just about to take off. Is it his knee? Watch, we'll see here. Oh, his leg just buckled underneath him.
You can see, yeah.
Well, they won't want Jimmy Anobo off the court for too long. He's going to have to go off because he's getting treatment, but they're hoping it's just one of those things. You jar it for a second and then all is okay, because
that was a tough fall.
Yeah, he's been a big player for them today.
He's getting helped up. He's walking on his own strength, though, so that's a positive.
Well, he's got 6 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, plus minus of 8 in a game that you're down 4. He's one of the many players on this team who play for the City Oilers back in Uganda. And he's fine. He's gone straight to the subs chair. He has to come out because he's received treatment on the court, and he's been replaced by Ben Komokech, but he's just sat right down on the subs bench saying, I'm coming straight back in next break of play. They're going to make another substitution with Carl Anthony checking in, and Adrius Peggy sitting down. So Komokech, fresh into the game, has to inbound it. He's under all sorts of pressure from Costa. Big shot for three, rims out, and there again is Moreira on the glass. And they're saying, let's keep it calm now. 3 minutes to go, get one more score, put them under a bit more pressure. Here's more, good pass, that's a beautiful play, and it's jammed in at the end by Moreira, and he pushes the sky. That is a perfectly executed play, well finished.
A big finish there, Moreira letting the fans know that Angola has no intentions of letting go of this lead.
Yeah, well, Monty letting them know he's got every intention of trying to claw it back as he takes it to the rack. Under 3 to go, it's 4 points between them.
You have to say, even right to the end here, gotta love the fact that Uganda, after every big shot, they just quick memory right back to the
good
other.
Pass from Moore, good head fake, and there he is again. They've really gone to him here in overtime, Moreira.
He's a tough answer for them now with the defense as exhausted as it is. Remember, Moreira's sat for the majority of this game until that fourth quarter.
And Pong got up in the air and he had to throw it away. Oh, it was just a little low, the bounce pass to Moras and out of bounds. Yeah, he's only played 14 minutes, Moreira. But he's come up with some big scores here in overtime. None more so than that one.
He's pushing up the crowd, pushing up himself. And he's one of those kind of players, though. He'll talk to himself a lot on the floor whenever he does well or whenever he does bad. He very much likes to be in his own head.
Well, Moore's going to get himself a little break. Nubu, shot doesn't go, and there's Moreira. Not only has he been scoring, but he's been cleaning the boards as well.
Not a shot you really want to take, especially if you're in the corner. You might as well step back and hit that three, but there was no pass whatsoever through that offensive set.
Well, you just wonder, one more score, make it a 3-possession game. It's a long way back from there. Moreira, as Paolo loads of space for three. It would look good from where we were. Oh, the pass is through his legs, and a chance for Uganda to break. Nice. Oh, goaltend, is it? Slap the board? Yes, indeed. Goaltend is the call.
They're going to count it. 4-point game now. Uganda still have a chance here with 1:30 remaining, and we're going to get one more timeout.
92-88. Uganda calling the timeout. They trail by 4. They need something defensively. Have to come up with a stop at some point soon. Doesn't necessarily have to be on this play. There's still enough time, but the sooner the better from their perspective.
That much is for sure. Let's see that coach of Uganda letting the troops know they still have a shot here. I mean, once again, though, a team ranked 9th out of 16 coming into this tournament. People were talking about, yeah, they're a good team. They're talented. They have the physical stature. But I don't think anyone was expecting them to go toe-to-toe with Angola the way that they have here, let alone lead by as much as 22 at one point. But Angola, once again, proving why they are one of the giants of Africa.
Well, interestingly, Uganda are in the 4 o'clock game tomorrow. Angola are in the 9 o'clock game once again. And bearing in mind they're going to have 45 minutes in the legs after this. And it's 11:15 local time. It's a quick turnaround for the Ugandans.
We'll see what they have left.
Well, he's just baiting into a foul, but they're not over the limit. Amazingly, with 1:21 to go in overtime, a foul is sideline possession. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't, but it's a testament to just how well coached and disciplined this team has been throughout this game.
Here's Costa. Morales gets himself free, calls for the screen, he goes round it.
There's the mismatch in the post.
But they take the three instead, and it's off the mark. I don't know if it hit the ring. It didn't, so it's a 24-second violation.
They got a chance now.
Yeah, they got the stop they wanted, Uganda.
You got to take it by any means necessary at this point. It doesn't matter how you got it. You've got the ball now, 1 minute and 4 points.
A lot of threes gone up, 73 of them in this game between the two teams. Cross-court pass, here goes number 74, but it's off the back of the ring. Ball is loose. Uganda come down with it. Good steal, though. And he keeps it inbounds, Costa. Ooh, just a little reach across there.
Almost had it, almost cleanly had it, but so close yet so far.
So Costa will go to the line with 2 free throws. If he makes them both, he leaves Uganda needing either 2 threes or 3 scores. If he makes one of them, a 3 and a 2 will do.
Essentially, this could ice it if Angola plays disciplined.
Ooh, missed the first. I always think in this situation, if you only make one, make the first, because a live ball situation, even if you don't get the offensive rebound, time starts ticking. He's done it the other way around. So, City will inbound. His team trail by 5. They need a quick score here. 2, 3, doesn't matter. It's just got to be quick. The City steps back, trying to find some space. He can't get the shot off, though. And elbow's way off the mark. Moreira gets the ball, and I think he would have preferred the advantage there.
And Angola's looking like they're going to hold on and outlast Uganda in this one.
Look at the faces on the Ugandan bench. They'll know they had a chance here. They had a real shot at it. They had a shot at it through the game where they led for most of it. They had a shot at it on the final play of regulation where they had possession but turned it over.
And it's going to be all about how they respond tomorrow now at 4 o'clock.
They're still going to have a chance here. Worst case scenario, it's still only 2 shots with 21 seconds to go. But they've got to come down and hit a 3 pretty quick to keep this one alive. Whatever happens to this free throw, that goes in. It needs a very quick 3-pointer. No time to hang about for Uganda.
We'll find him.
Hands off. Oh! Return to sender from Paulio there was it with the block.
That was a huge rejection there. Saw it right away. What a block.
Uganda end up with 2 free throws. And the foul out there on Paulo in the end means that Moore comes back in for these final 10 seconds. Oh, he's missed it. You almost wonder now whether it's worth missing the second and trying to just come up with the offensive rebound and a 3-point prayer.
Unless you want to make the shot and then try and force a turnover.
Well, he does make the shot. but Angola have a timeout, so they're able to stop the play, and he's only called it to advance the ball because it's much easier to inbound the ball from the front court than from the end line. And also, if you do make a mistake and turn it over, they've got, you know, 60, 70 feet to run back to the basket.
Oh, absolutely. Strategy-wise, it is the right decision to make, especially giving yourself an opportunity to keep the basket, to keep the ball as far away from your basket as possible on those inbounds, because crazier things have happened.
I've seen them. I saw a game in a very similar situation to this. It was a long time ago now. I think it was Lebanon somehow came up with 7 points in 14 seconds, I think it was. I've seen another game where a team hit a three, the player stepped over the end line, violation, and then made 3 free throws to force the game to overtime. They ended up losing, having been down 6 with 12 seconds to go, but they forced it to overtime. So it's not 10.8, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, but they need to steal the ball and hit a three, and do so preferably within about 3 seconds of each other.
No big deal.
No big deal. Can be done. Cipriano now just has to find a teammate. Oh, he's found an open one in Costa, and they're actually going to let it go. They realized it's done. They're not going to chase it down. Well, they almost got given the ball, but time will expire on a cracking game here.
It was.
It's gone to overtime, and Angola, you look at the final score, you see 94-89, but boy, does that not tell you the story of the game. We had everything here. Angola have beaten Uganda after overtime, 94 points to 89.
Uganda's got a lot to be proud of from this outing here, taking it right to Angola. And they talked about this leading up into this tournament, that they felt they could compete with just about anybody in this tournament, and they've proven it in this match. But it is going to be interesting to see how they bounce back now, because they're going to be wondering all night, what if, what if, what if? They just held on just a little bit more, whereas Angola, I think this is their wake-up call to say, hey, you're not going to be able to just walk through anybody, and they're going to have to start taking this tournament a little bit more seriously, specifically in the group stages, because they were literally this close to going down 0-1 to kick off this tournament, and nobody, regardless of who you are, wants to start off a tournament like this, where 2 wins or 2 losses essentially means you're out.
Well, from their perspective, as we look back, Maras hit some big shots. Marrero was huge in OT, Opong, City, McGee's all great for Uganda. Both these teams will look at the halves differently, won't they? Uganda will look at that first half and go, we were great in that first half. We had them on the ropes. And Angola say second half, overtime, brilliant. We just need to fix that first 20 minutes.
They really just need to be focused right away getting into these games. And once again, we saw how loose and how easygoing Angola seemed to be in the beginning, and Uganda was focused, and they took it right to them. And really, once again, this is going to be that wake-up call for Angola to say, hey, we have to make sure that we're taking care of business right away from start to finish.
Well, there's plenty of highlights to remember from this game. It's a real seesaw game. And in the second half, it was very much Angola on top. But you've got to give Uganda credit again, because when it looked like, oh, Angola are going to pull away with it here in the third and then in the fourth quarter, they fought back, and they still had their chance to win in regulation.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's the most important lesson Uganda needs to take away from this game, is that even when Angola pushed, they pushed back just as hard. They were able to maintain their lead, and even when they gave up the lead, they came right back down the other end of the floor and made big plays. And when you have a team that's this inexperienced, that's making plays like that already, they're going to be a problem even in this tournament. And don't be too shocked if you see these guys in the next round.
Well, that'll be the thing that they'll have to now refocus on. All right, we've lost the first game, so we have to win the next 2 and make sure that 2-1 should get you through on the plane to Tunisia. But first thing, I mean, they're doing their warm downs now because they got to get the body ready and right for tomorrow, and they live to fight another day. City with one of his many three-pointers. He was great, and they've really done themselves proud, and they'll just feel a bit disappointed they couldn't land the knockout blow, but credit to that guy. Moraes came up with some big shots despite the injured finger, and it just went back and forth, and it was a real slugfest down the stretch and into overtime before Uganda just ran out of gas a little bit.
I think if there's one final thing Uganda can take away from this game is going to be those free throws, 50%, and that'll be, honestly, if I'm the coaching staff, I'll be thinking that's the biggest what if. It's, you know, it's hard to try and teach free throws at this point. You'd think, you know, a lot of these guys are professional players, and in these situations and moments, you've got to be able to knock those down. It's the difference between literally just 2 or 3 points that we saw at the end of regulation. And if they're able to just knock down a few more free throws, they win this game. As simple as that. And even with Angola, despite the fact that they only shot 63 by the end of the game, they were shooting as high as 80% by the fourth quarter. And those free throws were exactly what was keeping them in this game. And just an importance of the little things.
And that's it for day one. We'll see you tomorrow.